Hello, everyone. Some news to get into in regards to the X's, QNT, HBAR, and the ISOs. Will they truly lead the US and world adoption? With that said, smash the like if you haven't done so already. Consider sticking to the end of the outline. We also have chapters for you guys, but what do Channy and I have for you, and why does it matter? Before we jump into the material, check out this, the Decent wallet. You can get a discount, not your keys, not your crypto. Here we go. We'll be right back. If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. So just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure. All right, welcome back. With that said, Tokenizer, what does he have in regards to some of this that we're talking about? Well, let's pull it up on the screen. You will see here specifically the key things of what he's mentioning, and if anything, might open up your eyes to say the least, because it did for me and Channing. And basically it's this. As we full screen it, Tokenizer gets into the weeds about this. And he talks about how blockchain DLT in the United States really looks like it's at a turning point. From Gary Gensler leaving to Trump's recent plans for US DLT adoption progress. These projects below are not only all US based, they're working with some of the biggest legacy names and even government entities in the United States. I know I mentioned quant. Channing in a little bit is going to mention how he feels about the US connection. It's a little taste of things to come. But it truly looks like the United States is ready to get on track and make up for lost time over the past few years of having the SEC, of course, drag their feet and create mud everywhere. He mentions also that he's got a good feeling that each of these projects below will continue to strive and prosper even further. If this is the level of progress and adoption we've seen without any framework or support in the US, just imagine how the game changes now that support for US adoption of digital assets and distributed ledger technologies is here. It is a turning point. So look what it says. US-based DLT networks and applications leading blockchain utility posted yesterday. Now, as I blow it up for you guys, I want you to see some key things here. And if anything, before we get right into this, we will have Channing just kind of get into it with the visualizations here in a bit simultaneously. So Channing, I'm going to pull this up on your screen for you to see it. And if anything, just kind of go through some of these. Let me put it back on that screen. So take it away, sir, on the first one that you see in regards to hedera.
I mean, come on, you guys. It's hedera. You see IBM. You see Intel. I believe that's State Street. I am not sure what that second one is. I can't tell what that one is. But we're talking major players in the game of tech, in the game of finance on this. Like, it is insane. The powers that be are now starting to tap into the distributed ledger technology sector, and we literally have the green light, the thumbs up from one of the most powerful politicians in the world, the President of the United States of America. Think about this. You now have 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 16 years ago, or sort of Bitcoin, you would have never heard any politician, let alone one of the highest politicians in the world, saying things like, we're going to make America the crypto capital of the world. What? We're going to make America the leader in AI technology. What? And you see hedera, and you know the information that just came out maybe about a month ago now, that you have NVIDIA, one of the largest AI companies in the world, and Intel, and I believe there was another one as well, now using hedera for their verifiable compute as far as their AI is concerned. That's incredible. That is major. And I know on that little thing, it doesn't say, but actually MasterCard is also tapped into hedera via I can't think of that Fresh Supply Co. Fresh Supply Co. is that company that's tapped into MasterCard tokenization studios. But anyway, with all of this being said, you have things like, I believe Constellation DAG was on there. You had Algo, I believe, was on there as well. You have XRP on there. You have XLM on there. You have BlackRock on there. You have Render on here. Like, think about this, you guys. You got BGC on here. These American-based crypto companies or distributed ledger technology companies providing distributed ledger technology services to the most powerful companies, organizations, and governments. Like, look at Constellation DAG. Constellation DAG literally has the Pentagon. They have so many different things that they are working with as far as literally the United States governments and militaries. And we also have a tie between DAG and Quant as well that we established many years ago. So these entities, these ISO tokens that are ISO compliant, that are working with different working groups with the ISO, these are going to be the things that powers the next few decades of global economies. And to know that now the US finally has pulled their chair up and they are now sitting at the table, possibly the head of the table, because I don't know of any other world leader short of the guy who started the whole Bitcoin reserve, I believe in El Salvador, if I'm not mistaken. He was one of the first out there. I don't want to overlook him, but you now have the president of the United States of America, whether you like him, whether you hate him, whether you have this different political views or whatever the case may be. They are now legitimizing the sector of Web3. They are now legitimizing the sector of crypto, and they are now legitimizing blockchain technology. And blockchain technology is the future. It is what is going to give AI truth. It's like, a couple years ago, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna kick it back to Maximus. A couple years ago, you could see and look at a video and you would know right off the bat, man, that's AI. Now you'd be like, you have to make it, stretch the screen, make it bigger. Is that AI? Because you don't know. So now think of another 5-10 years of this when AI becomes so good and it's so seamless to where it truly looks real. We're going to need a source of truth to that AI. And that is what blockchain does to AI. And that's just on the lower level. Now think of machines that are doing processes like making cars, machines that are preparing food, machines that are preparing law. You need a source of truth, a source of transparency, a source of tracking. And that is what blockchain does for AI. And man, anybody that's paying attention to this sector right now in 2025 and doing things with these tokens, they will not be sorry, because they are going to power the future. And to know that these American-based technologies now have a full-fledged seat at the table via the most powerful politician in our country, there's nothing else to be said. Thank you, and kicking it back over to you.
Well, thank you, sir. The other thing I want to get into is what Channing was just touching on briefly in regards to MasterCard. Now, we know about the whole thing of MasterCard Stellar, MasterCard Hedera, MasterCard Quant.
Absolutely.
Here's something that I've learned recently that I think a lot of people aren't aware of. What about MasterCard Algorand? Check this out just briefly on the screen. Shout out to this particular person who points out some of this. So this guy's name is SB, and like he points out, hey, he loves tokenizer content, but he expected more in relation to algo. That's fine, that's fair. But whatever the case be, check it out. He goes on to mention MasterCard's international global headquarters is in New York. There's Lofty AI. Shout out to Will Fix. He pointed this out back in October of 2023. He has literally bought tokenized real estate, I believe on a duplex, if I'm not mistaken, a piece of one, through Lofty AI, located in Miami, Florida. Boom, United States. TravelX, based in Silicon Valley, California. Boom, United States. Just to name a few companies who have partnered up, of course, with Algorand. So, we don't mention Algorand enough, but I'm personally invested in Algo, and it's part of the ISO 222 mix. And again, this was just shared roughly, you know, today, earlier, a few hours ago. Okay, very cool to see that, to say the least. And then as I take you here, just for a brief moment, well, the NASDAQ for real estate, buy and sell real estate as effortlessly as trading a share of Tesla, diversified across 150 properties and 40 markets, starting at just $50 and sell with instant liquidity anytime. Featured on NBC, Business Insider, Forbes, NASDAQ, you get the gist. So it's cool to see some of this. When we talk about real world asset tokenization, well, yeah, there's projects like Relio. We covered that before. Man, if you guys got into Relio when I first covered 8 cents, man, that went really high, right? You saw a lot of X, a lot of gains. But it's not just Relio, right? There's Propy, Proppy, I should say. Tomato. But whatever the case be, yes, even the Algorand side of things. All right, so we highlighted that. Let's jump into this for a second. Back to what Channing was talking about just for a brief bit. So we understand with Hedera, you have like IBM connection, you had NVIDIA, State Street was the one he was trying to talk about. We also see Intel, various US-based industry giants building on Hedera. Let's pound on the whole thing of the United States. Again, what about your Ripple XRPs? Well, again, Volante. Remember when we talked about Volante and FedNow? Again, watch out for Channing's video in regards to Quant and FedNow update. Okay. We also have the whole thing of Bank of America. Myself and Will Fix did a Bank of America update, and we have another update we're going to do soon. Then you see the whole thing Western Union. Volante partnered, or, that particular Volante partner, I should say, integrates into U.S. FedNow payments. And again, we've been there, done that. I think I did this with Rue Black. Shout out to Rue. How about Wisdom Tree? Franklin Templeton, again, MasterCard, large U.S. asset managers tokenizing on Stellar. So key thing here is just MasterCard briefly. We mentioned, of course, the whole thing of Algorand, which is cool. So again, birds of feather flock together and they collaborate with the big players. So you have Stellar, MasterCard. You have, for instance, I guess honorable mention too, what you see with Aptos, MasterCard. And also on top of that, keep in mind your likes of Quant, MasterCard, right? Interesting to see that. And of course, even Hedera MasterCard, as we saw the last few months. So interesting, again, to see all this in regards to US-based DLT networks and applications of leading blockchain and utility. So to get further into this, I want to now jump over to this. And what do we have here? Well, again, shout out to Tokenizer. SBI and XDC collaboration has been growing exponentially. What began as an officially signed collaboration back in 2023, or December, I should say, grew into one of the most exciting innovations in global trade today. And here's your highlight. 2025 plans to service to XDC and HBAR. We understood that last month there was the whole thing of having a platform used by SBI subsidiary, but in just a year alone, we've seen unreal progress out of this collaboration. Again, whether it's your MasterCards with the ecosystem of Stellar, Hedera, your Quant, your Algorand. Now look at this. You see here the developments in crypto and DLT being formed. And like it says, names of IBM, Oracle. We did, Channing and I did the whole thing at Oracle. I have another update in regards to, Oracle and Jasmine and Quant. Again, I did it earlier with Crypto Future, Rob, and Jesse of KIR Finance. I'm doing a lot of collaborations, obviously, but whatever the case be, you got Deutsche Telekom, big giants, right? Goldman Sachs. But again, look at this. Contrary to this collaboration between XDC and SBI, you see SBI and XDC form collaboration with joint venture alongside TradeFinex. Boom, December 2023. This is progress, everybody. Then, June of last year, XDC SBI R3 Corda. Been there, done that. The XDC R3 Corda bridge is massive, right? Successfully completed that POC with R3 for cross-border settlement. Of course, June 2024. Then, SS Trading. That didn't get mentioned enough. Really, it didn't. Used for SBI subsidiary SS Trading and trade settlement for Japan and even the United Arab Emirates car parts. Interesting to see that, And, again, understand that XDC is well connected, but they're even connected. And this is good stuff to see this, even with hedera HBAR. So SBI expanding service offerings for XDC and HBAR this year, 2025. I really love the visual. We'll kick it into another key thing here in a bit that you're going to love. A new video finally from Quincy Jones in the collaboration. But before we kick it into that, I want to get Shanning's thoughts in regards to SBI, hedera HBAR. Let's go, baby. Back to you.
You see, HBAR, hedera is literally mapping out something that we hadn't seen in Web3, which is truly, like, even with their governing council, bringing in mega players, literally saying, hey, come join my council. Hey, come run a node. So I can show the world, I can show the powers that be that this technology, it's not just degens in basements. It's not just, people behind computer screens. This is real world processes, processing and progressing business. But real fast, I do want to say this. I cannot not say this, right? We saw on that Algorand clip, hey, my former employer is on there. The Red Cross, I spent 13 or 14 wonderful years with the Red Cross. And to see that they are also now future-proofing their processes, whether I'm not sure exactly why they're using algo or what type of blockchain process they're using, but the fact that they are using it will let them be around for the next 100 years. People don't know the Red Cross has been around for a very long time, starting back with Clara Barton, I believe I'm not going to say the exact date, but it was definitely, I believe it was the 1800s. So to now be in 2025 and to see them coupled with a blockchain solution says a lot about the company and their process moving forward. And think about, just prime example with the fires that's going on right now in California. Shout out to everybody who's going through that. Prayers for you guys. But to know that there's a lot of money coming in. And what blockchain is going to do for that organization is make it transparent so people can see, hey, I've donated this and I can now see exactly where my dollars are going. Not just inside someone's pocket, but actually going to help the situation. So that's major. Shout out to the Red Cross. And shout out to Tokenizer. Tokenizer, bro, you rock. You are one of the GOATs in this community. People don't give you your flowers enough. Tokenizer, man, you rock. But back to HBAR and SBI. And to see the huge announcement from our boy Trump, that's his favorite word, huge, with SBI as well. And to know that hedera is right there alongside of players like XDC, alongside of players that are literally shaping. People don't understand what's happening right now. Literally, they are shaping and codifying technology so that we can build governments on top of. Think about what is truly happening. And what I mean by governments, I mean everything that flows up under the process of government, whether it's your stock market, whether it's your real estate market, whether that's, your everyday consumer, whether that's your banking, whether that's your, I can see it even one day being where things as far as like the House and the Senate, their processes, their votes, all those things being on blockchain, because it is immutable, like we said in that last video, and it is transparent so the people can see and tap in anytime, day or night, 365. These processes on top of blockchain and the way that they're moving through governments, central banks, and multinational corporations, literally 5 years ago wasn't even a thing. And for it not to just be a whisper in a meeting, but for it to be global announcements being made, this is a major turning point for the Web3 sector. People wake up and realize these entities, especially these American-based blockchain solutions that you're holding, and they are coupling themselves with the biggest entities in the world. Okay, you guys? So kick it back to Matt.
Yeah, it's clear that these are the biggest entities in the world, the biggest conglomerates in the world. the biggest and the best of the world. But the biggest and the best in the world definitely want to team up with real winners, with real utility that has something solid moving forward. And
Ooh.
again, the house has been built, the rails have been laid. You know, the next big step, of course, is that clarity. You know, regulations. I can literally feel it happening soon when it comes to, of course, 2025.
I would say quant network, the foundation of the house. Then you had the walls and the siding and the plumbing and all of that stuff put into it, which is like your algos and your XRPs and your XLMs. So think about regulation like the house is finally done and it's being furnished. So you can actually move into it. Think about it like that. The house is built, foundation is laid. Now it's time for the interior designer like myself to come in and furnish it. And we are at the point of furnishing the global house worldwide. And this is incredible. But go ahead, man.
Well, what I was going to state is, you know, people were watching this. They're like, well, at the beginning, you mentioned, you know, the X's, Q and T HBAR, the ISOs to lead in US and world adoption. Well, you know, quant is UK and Australia and all that. Well, again, we were going to address that. So you, just without spilling the beans fully, you have apparently a update that you're going to do on your own on your channel in regards to quant fed now update. What is the little taste of things to come in regards to quant, the US, of course, fed now moving forward, Shannon?
There's an interview, and you know, it's Gilbert. It's Gilbert himself just talking. It is Gilbert saying things like Fed now, things like the digital pound, and how he literally helped to build these structures. So people sleep. People are not paying attention to the words that come out of people's mouths, especially someone as powerful as Gilbert Burdian, the CEO of Quant Network, the convener of a global standard, ISO TC 307, who sits on top of the interoperability protocol of that standard. So I won't get too deep into it right now, but just know there's going to be some stuff coming from Gilbert himself talking about these entities like FedNow. And think about how powerful FedNow is coming from our central bank. It is the real-time gross settlement instant payment system in America, because before these entities started taking place, we didn't have it. The EU has had it for a while, you know, with SEPA. The UK actually had it first, and they've had it for a decade. So we're actually behind, but know that we're behind. But like I said before, we finally have pushed that seat up to the table, and it's time for us to start eating. And I'm so excited to hear it.
I'm excited as well. I think a lot of us are. Before we wrap up things, I want to share with you guys this last particular snippet segment for you guys. A lot of emphasis, obviously, on XDC, but let's face it, we talked a lot about the X's, your XRPs, XLMs, XDCs, your quant, just like Chang was mentioning. We did a little bit of HBAR. But let's kick it back to this topic of XDC. Let's pull this up on your screen. And what you're going to see here is this announcement. So why is it important? Well, look what it says. XDC Accelerator Program with Plug and Play. Now, I've covered Plug and Play in the past. Driving the future forward with corporations. Again, governments. Think about what we were talking about earlier with the United States. Startups, investors, and universities. This is big because if you've been following the whole thing of Project Stargate 2025, interesting. You know, could it fall under that umbrella? It's possible. But where the case be, it's this emphasis about where we're moving forward with this. All right, before we wrap this up, understand some basic things. They state, quote, we have actually gotten through our selection process and basically have sent out invites. So what we're about to see is seriously some of the biggest projects in crypto joining this accelerator and integrating, of course, XDC. Now, I give these guys a shout out. I didn't even realize they're following me. How cool is that? Chain Gamer, we are XDC. Now, XDC Network, Chain Gamer, the director of the XDC Foundation. So, again, even their own ecosystem to collaboration. But they try to write it down correctly, but you should definitely listen to the complete X Space. All right, here's the moment you've been waiting for the most part. Everybody loves a little update in regards to the one and only, you know, yeah, you know who he is. Quincy Jones. XDC. Now, I showed some older videos before, but they're not time sensitive. But this one, you can say, is your new video. And, you know, these guys are awesome. I tune into their program quite often. But Generation Infinity, XDC show, real world adoption in our tokenized future. Again, it's not just Algorand, it's all these ones. Diving deep into blockchain's liquid wave transforming industries in the United States and beyond. But yeah, emphasis on the United States. A lot of things have happened recently in regards to the United States. So I fast forwarded to this key area, and yes, believe it or not, Quincy Jones, you could tell he's aged a little bit, right? Yeah, a lot's happened in the last few years. But whatever the case be, listen to this. I love these guys. They're awesome. Listen to what they have to state. I promise this is good. Smash the like if you haven't done so already. Listen to this. Here we go.
Quincy, I know that we talked about this just a little bit, but like, you know, I would love your take on this because, you know, as Lance mentioned, it's been such a grind for a couple of years, and now we're starting to kind of see the fruits of that labor. But what's it been like? What's the sentiment that you're kind of getting across the board here in the industry?
So I think a few things are happening. I think the overall space is maturing. I think we're seeing a lot more ideas become more flushed out, like tokenization and real world assets. But I think we're also starting to see where you're starting to see like real, not even real, but more like you're starting to see more legitimate or more valid players come into the space. And I say that not to say that there are a bunch of illegitimate players, but I remember for the longest time, it was just memes and NFTs and a lot of just sort of like abstract notions of what could be, but nothing really tangible. But now we're starting to see a lot of these tangibilities come into play, and people are starting to talk about it. So people are starting to go into what could the future of this be. And I think that's a lot more of a better foundation that we have now coming in, just with the maturity of the space and just with the expectations that have now come. Because instead of just waiting for the next meme or waiting for the next NFT, there's almost now an expectation for what are these RWAs? How are they going to factor in? How can I interact with them? What type of DeFi environments can these now participate in? The space is entirely, the view on where the space could go is entirely shifted. And I think before that shift, XDC had a really hard time trying to get our name in the conversation. But now with a little bit more of that shift, we're sort of like becoming like rising to the top of that conversation, whether it's RWAs or whether it's the future of tokenization or traditional assets and DeFi protocols. I feel like now that things are starting to become a bit more realized in terms of what the potential for these technologies are. And we start seeing more, I don't want to say legitimate, but we start seeing more major players coming into the fray. And all I mean by major is someone who's already dealing with some sort of financial product now taking crypto more seriously. I finally see a lot of attention coming onto XDC in terms of what it's like to be able to facilitate that environment.
I think, you know, to your point, and you know, I have a couple things loaded up here because there's been a lot of interesting comments from a lot of interesting players over the past few days. I'll just put it that way, and I'll share them with everybody. But I think it's been interesting to watch, and I haven't been here since 2009, but 2016. And like for me, you know, looking at this space, success or failure, like historically in crypto, has been based off of a retail-driven narrative.
A whole thing of a retail-driven narrative. Now think about this. Utility in motion is really not here. It's not here at all. It's not here whatsoever. We just have these little hints of like what utility could be. Before we jump into wrapping this up, I want to share this with you guys. And it's this, because we talked about the United States. Let's share this on your screen. And what you have here. This comes from the Bitcoinist. Why point it out? Well, shows the whole thing of could XRP, yes, we're bringing back to XRP, and XDC replace what is referred to as USA coin as the ultimate US digital asset. Now, there isn't a USA coin, but this is perspective for you guys. There was, in the community, a bold suggestion that recently surfaced from a prominent chief economist and global strategist at Europac, and that is, well, why not just create a USA coin and be done with it? A US digital currency pegged to Bitcoin structure. Sounds like a great idea, with a capped supply of 21 million, right, just like the tokenomics of BTC. The idea is enticing, but here's the kicker, everybody. Many crypto enthusiasts believe that the two tokens already serve this purpose, and this is awesome. This means it would be without creating a new CBDC, because we know that Trump signed with executive order just the other day that there will not be a CBDC here in America. But like it says, you know, people already believe that the two tokens already serve this purpose of a quote-unquote USA coin. XRP and XDC. Now notice how it says XDC, because a lot of people, nothing against you guys, have this narrative stuck in your head. XDC is not part of the equation when it comes to America. Well, keep in mind also this. Industry experts are already highlighting the capabilities of XRP and XDC and addressing the challenges of a hypothetical USA coin in which it aims to solve. In response to Peter Schiff, remember how he's obsessed with gold, James Casey noted that XRP and XDC already offer fast, reliable transactions with minimal fees. Are designed for real-world applications. By leveraging these existing tokens, governments and institutions can save valuable time and resources while utilizing proven blockchain tech that addresses scalability and cost efficiency without requiring the creation of a new digital currency. That is massive for the United States moving forward. So, with that said, your closing thoughts in regards to all of what we covered, but especially, let's face it, Channing, the whole thing of XRP and XDC, those are the beloved USA coins. Your thoughts, sir?
Yes. And if you think of it, they're tackling, two different sectors, if that makes sense. And I would actually throw XLM in there as well. You have your XRP that kind of sort of is more so on your bigger payments, bigger traditional, institutional, moving huge amounts of money. You have your XDC as far as like your stocks and all those wonderful things, tokenization of those things as well. And then you have your XLM, which is more your retail based thing, and I even throw Hedera's tokenization studio in there as well, as far as that is concerned, that you now have these companies that are American based that are now getting the green light, like I said earlier, to actually showcase to the world, hey, this is what we can do. Come on, let us in so we can go ahead and take over. No digging over the country, but you gotta love home, and home for me is USA. So I'm a good old American boy at heart. But yeah, so I'm just, like I said before, I'm excited to see these technologies, because I'm going to start talking about them more than just saying crypto, because there's so much more than just crypto. They have such a negative connotation to it at this point in time. These technologies, if you're investing in these things, you are investing in technology. Okay, so start referring to yourself as a technology investor. Okay, an energy investor, because these things will also be tied to energy. Like it, don't like it, love it, however the case may be, but it just is what it is. But to know that these technologies that we have been researching and we have been reporting on, and that we have been doing so much time and our own energy into them, to finally see them in documentation, to see real journalists actually taking them seriously, you know what I'm saying? To see that, CBDCs or no CBDCs, or, digital dollar or no digital dollar, however it's going to play out, because I don't have a crystal ball, but to know that they're going to have a part in the process. And think about it. If you own a piece of that technology, that means you own a piece of the network, which means that once these transactions start flowing through the network, when we truly get mass adoption, when we truly get utilization, that means a little piece of that fee will be coming to you, because you own a piece of the network that is facilitating the transaction. Think about that on now, as far as just in America, that scale, and then think of that now globally. You guys, we are so early to this game. We front run, or ran rather, the banks. We front ran the institutions. We front ran the governments. We are literally in position now to hopefully one day soon, I'm gonna call it between now and 2030, to be sitting completely different than where we sit now at the beginning part of 2025 with these technologies that we own. It's like what the Franklin Templeton CEO said, these are small pieces of the network. And that network is going to power everything you could possibly think of, from when you go to the doctor, when you go to the grocery store, when you're paying your mortgage, when you're paying your car note, when you're paying a friend for a slice of pizza, when you are just doing your everyday processes and anything you're dealing with, even certain things on the internet, all of those things will be facilitated in some way, somehow, tapping into the distributed ledger technology sector. And to know that potentially, and by holding piece of this technology, you are truly building out generational wealth for your families, because you're owning something that is going to stand the test of time. Like Hedera, they have 100-year roadmap. Think about that. Think about it, you guys. So with that being said, I'm gonna kick it back to Maximus.
Yeah, it's not just Hedera with 100-year roadmap. I mean, we see even with patents, right? Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, like, it's dating to like past 2040, so it's been solidified. It is here. But whatever the case be, we're gonna wrap it up. We went a little bit longer, and that's okay. It's what we do. And with that said, do us a favor if you listen to the entire outline and simply type this key term, not word, term, into the comments, and that is USA all day. USA all day, every day.
Absolutely.
And we'll know that you listened to the entire outline. On behalf of myself, King Channing, aka Channing Harral, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD, 110%. You got something you want to tell them all, Channing?
Already know. Peace out.
Peace out, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Hey guys, I just want to point out something real quick in regards to Uphold with you guys. A lot of you guys are familiar with Uphold or heard about it, but if you're brand new to all this and don't have an account, basically there's some benefits. It benefits me, it benefits you. This is a win-win. But one thing I want to point out to really pound it home with Uphold is, for example, XDC. As we know, with XDC, a lot of us have to jump through the hoops of like KuCoin, use a VPN to kind of get around things. This is American-based exchange with Uphold. You don't have to do that. You can get your XDC here, and yeah, not having to deal with that is a great thing. You could also get XRP here. Again, American-based exchange. There's a refer and earn. Bottom line is, if you deposit $100, I get 20, you get 20. It's a win-win for both of us. And of course, that's in BTC, but again, you can swap that to any of these particular altcoins. So check it out. Links are in the description if you would like to take advantage of the 20. And yeah, a win for both of us. How cool is that? Links in the description, both on the live and on the recorded. Thanks, guys. Over and out.